This is the best news Bitcoin has seen in months. Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, we are going to be talking about CPI inflation data that's just come out from the Bureau of Labor Statistics at 8.5%. Last month, year over year, it was 9.1%, and this is the first time that it looks like inflation may be hitting a peak and then it might be starting to come down. We're going to break down why that is so incredibly important for the Bitcoin market in today's video, and some of the warnings where this could maybe not be as bullish of news as you may have once thought. A lot to break down today on the Bitcoin chart and having to do with the Bitcoin technicals. We're going to look at the next 3 to 12 months on Bitcoin's price prediction and see where Bitcoin is heading based on a multitude of different fundamental geopolitical, economic, and cryptocurrency technical factors. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, but without much further ado, let's go ahead and dive right on into it. As you can see, over on bls.gov/CPI/, you can see all items over here is currently sitting at 8.5%. That is something called the CPI, the Consumer Price Index, which measures 12-month inflation year over year. So from a year ago to now, we have seen that prices have only increased by 8.5%, whereas if we look at dailyfx.com/economic-calendar, you can see that not long ago, we were looking at 9.1%. That was last month's rate. So it's gone down 0.6%. However, it is still up at 8.5%, whereas target inflation is 2%. Let me break this down very simply. Whenever inflation rates go up, then we see the Federal Reserve raise the effective federal funds rate, otherwise known as the federal interest rate. Whenever that goes up, it makes money more expensive because loans base their interest rate based on what the Federal Reserve deems as the effective federal funds rate. That means that institutions, players in the space, people trying to buy homes, etc., they're trying to borrow money, can't get that money as cheaply with low interest rates, which makes the economy slow down, lowering inflation, but also lowering the amount of capital that's going to pour into the economy at large and into crypto. So as inflation has been high, the U.S. Federal Reserve has been raising interest rates, Bitcoin has been taking a slump. So when we see the inflation rate go down by 0.6% comparative to last month, that's really encouraging because it could mean that the Federal Reserve is going to stop raising interest rates in the next 3 to 6 months as it seems like inflation is getting under control. The issue is, if we look at something similar to inflation but not quite the same called core inflation rate, you can see last month it was at 5.9%, now it's still at 5.9%, meaning it hasn't gone down, it's actually traded sideways. Looking back over at CPI, you can see 8.5% represents all items within the index, including food and energy prices, which are up 10.9% year over year and 32.9% year over year, respectively. All items less than energy and food is still sitting at 5.9%, meaning that only really food and energy have come down in prices and in their inflation relative to a year ago, whereas the rest of the economy has pretty much stayed the same. So this number is a little bit deceiving. We are down 0.6% on complete CPI data on all items, but actually everything excluding food and energy is inflating at the same rate it was a month ago. What that means is that we have a tentative yellow light for the market. No longer a red light. The market can now move to the upside a little bit more, but tentatively, because we need to see the inflation really start to get under control, drop by several percentage points. We need to see CPI getting down to 3 or 4%, if not lower. We need to see core inflation getting down to 1 to 2, maybe 3%, if not a little bit lower. And then we're going to see interest rates start to drop, and we're going to see the money printer turn on, and money's going to flow into the economy, liquidity will show up, and Bitcoin will blow up. Until that point, we really do need to see a few more things play out. What are those things? Well, we're going to see another CPI release on September 13th. If that means that core CPI goes down and CPI in general, including food and energy, goes down as well, that's going to be a big old green light for when the FOMC, the Federal Open Market Committee, which is the governing body of the Federal Reserve, meets on September 20th and 21st. They could have a 50 basis point rate hike instead of a 75 basis point rate hike. That would be a green light for the market. You'd probably see Bitcoin at 30K within 3 days of that announcement. However, if CPI trades sideways on September 13th, then we're probably going to see the market stagnate. We'll probably see another 75 basis point rate hike, and we'll probably see a continued stagnant Bitcoin market for another 3 to 4 months. So there's a lot of things that are going to be hinging on what we see come in on September 13th, although right now it looks like it's probably going to be pretty good data. Hey guys, today's show is brought to you by none other than our CPA, Anthony Price. If you guys don't know, Anthony Price has helped a plethora of our viewers to save tons of money on their taxes, because if you don't know, one of the biggest things that's going to eat into your profits in any profitable venture, but especially in trading, are capital gains taxes. You want to be able to legally pay as little in taxes as possible so you can keep reinvesting that money into Bitcoin and cryptocurrency so you can cash it out and you can enjoy the fruits of your labor. And the best way to do that is with Anthony Price. Guys, he's our CPA. We stand by him. We really believe in him. And we've seen a lot of success from our customers and viewers who have used him. So make sure you check out the links down below to get a free consultation with him and see all the different services that he offers. Nevertheless, looking at the chart, Bitcoin has responded very positively to this news. You can see ever since this news released at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time this morning, we saw Bitcoin rally 4%. We also saw something like Ethereum rally multiple percentage points, almost 10% in the span of just 3 hours. So the market's reacting very well to this bullish hope, but it doesn't mean that the headwinds have let up just yet. Bitcoin still needs to break through some pretty important triple top resistance here at 24K. It needs to break up to 26K and break that before we can go on a big tear. I think the best you're going to see out of Bitcoin is a rally up to 26K in the next several days. That is bullish because we do have bullish long-term forces, such as a bullish MACD cross on the weekly chart, such as record low RSI that's currently bouncing and breaking bullish above this trend line right now. A lot of great things going on technically. But really right now, what's driving the market is not so much technicals. It is fundamentals having to do with CPI, having to do with inflation, having to do with jobs reports, which we've talked about, more data coming on that relatively soon, and also to do with war in Ukraine and potential conflict in the South China Sea if Taiwan does get invaded. Hopefully that doesn't happen. If it does, it will provide a massive amount of strength to the bears. You could see Bitcoin drop dramatically. So what we're looking at right now is, as usual, Bitcoin could go through a big rally, could trade sideways, or it could drop. Let's start with the drop. If Taiwan does indeed get invaded, and if we do see inflation stay the same or actually go up next month, you're probably going to see Bitcoin drop down to $20,000, if not a little bit lower. If, however, Taiwan does not get invaded and the crisis going on in the South China Sea lets up and we see inflation rate trade sideways and it's still 8.5% next month for inflation, core inflation still 5.9% on September 13th, then we're probably going to see the Federal Reserve come out with a 75 basis point rate hike. Then we'll probably see Bitcoin continue ranging between 22 to 26K for several more months, probably on into October or November. However, if we do in fact see core inflation drop to even 5.8%, but hopefully something like 5.5, 5.6% next month, we see inflation rate drop as gas prices keep going down to around 8%. If we see that occur, then we also see Ethereum 2.0 launch well on September 19th, and we see the Federal Open Market Committee meet on the 20th and the 21st of September. They have a 50 basis point rate hike. That would be a green light for a Bitcoin bull market. So what I want you to be doing is I want you to be paying close attention to these announcements. Dates to remember: September 13th, next CPI data. Also be looking at September 19th if ETH2 launches well. The Federal Open Market Committee meets September 20th and 21st. They'll be releasing their decision on rate hikes relatively soon thereafter. Watch those dates. First week of October could be the beginning of a Bitcoin bull market. If not, we could be pushing it back towards December or January. But by Christmas, I do think you're going to see Bitcoin moving to the upside. And that leads us into our long-term prediction. Based on everything that I've talked about, so long as there's not war in the South China Sea or some other major black swan event comes in and rattles the economy, I think you're going to see the bull market resuming within the next 6 to 8 months based on the current economic forecast. However, that is as of yet uncertain. We don't know when that's going to happen, what that's going to look like, how big that's going to be. We don't know whether the inflation is going to get under control, if interest rates are going to climb up to 3, 4, 5, 6%, or if they're going to plateau here, if the money printer is going to turn back on and pour liquidity into the economy. There's so many uncertainties, so many things to watch. The point is, though, unless there's a black swan, just about no matter what happens, we're probably going to see a big movement on Bitcoin to the upside within the next year, but that doesn't mean it's going to happen now. Bitcoin is trading at $24,000. We've seen a $1,000 move to the upside. That's great, but we really need to see a lot more data come in before we can be sure that Bitcoin's going to a bull market. I do personally think that you're going to see all-time highs next year, if not next year, maybe the first quarter of 2024. I think you'll be sitting at all-time high to over $100,000 within the next 2 years, based on all the factors we've just talked about, and increasing regulatory clarity coming into the space over the next 2 years as lawmakers start getting a lot more serious about regulating crypto in a way that allows institutions to invest in it. I do think you'll see 100K Bitcoin within 2 to 2.5 years, so make sure to keep an eye on Bitcoin and consider dollar cost averaging in a long-term sustainable but slow way right now with any cash that you're able to find. Notice I said Bitcoin. I did not say the altcoins. A lot of the altcoins are going to die, but Bitcoin is here to stay and it's going to do very well. And these are probably some of the lowest prices that you're ever going to see on Bitcoin again. We could drop down to 17K one more time, but it is at this point, unless there's a black swan, seemingly unlikely. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, sign up for Lux Algo. Link is in the description box down below. You definitely want to make sure you have that trading tool. Absolutely phenomenal. You're not going to want to miss out on it. Make sure to follow us over at CryptoJeb over on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and more. Make sure to follow all of the amazing hosts that we have on our show. TA Tim, T Shrim, Smay. Go follow Kelly. Follow all of us. Thank you guys so very much for your continued support. Before I go, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching also, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Also, comment down below so we can continue to give you the best videos possible. Peace.